Hey everybody. So this is part two of my previous video about body count. So where I left off of, I set my coffee cup down and I was about to, I was about to, I was about to engage on this situation because the woman was all, once again, I think this lady was causing me to laugh more on the inside than I had done to date. Like just her demeanor and everything, like right. But I looked at her and I put my hands on the table in front of me and I'm like, so let me get this straight. You were ranting and raving because a guy rejected you because of your extreme number of bodies that you have under your belt that you've been intimate with in your life. And she rolled her eyes for a minute and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so let me analyze this one real quick. Okay, let me just put this in perspective for myself so I can understand this. And I know you don't ask a lady her age, but I'm like, can, can I ask you how old you are? And she told me, she's like, I'm 25. What? Right? Like, she was only in her mid 20s. So, in my heart, like, my heart, like, legitimately stopped itself, right? Like, you would have thought that I had to give myself an AED and I had to jolt myself back to life with hearing it. And so, like, whoo. And so, I grabbed a napkin. Holy smokes. Um, so I wrote down the number 2,500, right? And I wrote down the age of 25. So, Lord. And I did some basic math. And I'm like, to break it down and to get it in a simplified process for my brain to analyze that kind of scenario. So I did. So the average person starts having relations somewhere, hopefully, unless they're an early bloomer, somewhere between the ages of 14 and 16 is typically when people generally have their first interaction. And I wrote that down there because you can actually find that number. That number is actually locatable. Just go ask a, just go and ask a doctor. They'll tell you. Typically, people will become active between 14 and 16. Typically, and so that means that she had. We'll give her a grace period where she had about nine. She had 8 9 years there, right? Maybe 10. I'll give her to 14, right? And so I broke it down for her even further, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing my math and so forth, and I'm just like, man. And after I did the best I could to break that down, because the number was humongous of the people that she had for those 9 years, and I, like this situation legitimately bogged my mind. And I put my pen down real quick because I always carried a pen with me. I always had a writing pen in my pocket. It's a military thing. It is what it is. Um, but I put my pen down And all I could do was just hold the napkin up for her to see it. And this was not to persecute. This was not to offend her or anything. But all I could do was I just pointed at the number. Right? That whether it was accurate or not, that wasn't what I was going after. I was going after to show her something. All right, and I put my napkin back on the table, and I laid it all nice and flat, nice like. And I said, "So you don't see a problem with a guy rejecting you because you've had ballpark this many guys every year for the last 10 years, and you don't see a problem with that?" And, and this is when I got an actual, authentic, and mature reaction. She sat back again. She sat back in her chair, and she's like, now that I'm actually seeing it, and she got really emotional for a minute there, and she's like, I can see where I can see with the math, and I can see with the stuff being in front of me where, yeah. And I'm like, that's why the guy rejected you. He might have did that basic math in his head and realized this is not a good situation. Now, can I judge you? No, because that's what you did in your past. But at the same time, you've been with this many guys every year for the last 10 years. If you don't see a problem with that, when is that logic going to smack you in the face? When does someone change their ways? She looked at me and she just nodded solemnly, like, yeah, you're right. She's like, so she did a reverse analysis with me. She's like, so the guy rejecting me was because of, he felt like this was a bad situation because I've been with that many guys. And I'm like, bingo. And then she asked me, she's like, well, what is your input? Flat out, I said, honestly, I wouldn't touch your stuff with a 40-foot pole. And she did this whole thing again, right? Kind of like she was doing the you know. And she's like, why not? Because I don't like trampling through other people's property. And that's where I got up and I walked away. To let her think about that one for a situation. Think about that for a minute. But that's where I'm going to draw this one at tonight. Hope you're all having a great night. Until next time. Love you all.